What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. What I got for you guys, I'm going to show you guys probably the most broken meta AR setup for the M4. This is probably one of the most broken class setups. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to show you guys the class setup, and then I'll show you guys some gameplay, and then we'll talk about why I tuned it the way I tuned it, and why it's such a broken and overpowered weapon. Alright guys, so I'm going to cut to the chase, give you guys the class setup really quickly, and then I'll show you guys the gameplay after that, because I know a lot of you guys just want to see the setup. So what I got is the FSS Oli V laser. This is the only thing I'm using for the ADS. I mean, it has literally no cons towards the stats. The only con is that it's visible towards the ADS. That doesn't really impact the stats as much. But yeah, we got the ADS speeds and all that helps a lot, and the sprint to fire speed. And then the rest of these are for towards recoil, so that way there's no recoil on this thing. As you guys can see right here, the accuracy and the recoil control are through the roof. But we're sacrificing a little mobility and handling. So for the muzzle, we got the FTAC Castle Comp, and for the tuning, it's recoil stabilization at 0.62, and then gun kick control at 0.35. And then the FTAC Ripper, same thing for the recoil. It's tuned at 0.57 towards recoil stabilization, and then at 0.40 for the aiming idle stability. And then we got the 60 round mag. I don't like reloading that much, so 60 round mag really helps a lot. And then we got the Saskin ZX grip for the rear grip, and then we got it towards recoil stabilization 0.74, and then 0.42 towards the aim idle stability. So this gun overall is already good at base, but this makes it a little bit more overpowered. So I like to work towards the recoil control, because that's my biggest issue with some of these guns, is just the fact that they have too much recoil. The ADS speeds as well, I don't like really slow ADS speeds, but this one gives like the perfect balance. Even though the stats looked kind of weird, I mean, obviously I was going just towards recoil stabilization and all of them. Once you actually put the gun to the test and throw it in the firing range or get into a game and you feel it out, it's actually really good, well balanced, and it's pretty overpowered. You can fire people at long range, at close range. It's overpowered in every sort of combat styles. So this might be something you can also take into Warzone, because this is a meta gun. I mean, everyone's talking about this. It is currently one of the best ARs that we have in the game right now, and the scariest thing about it is it's one of the fastest ones that you unlock. So this thing is probably going to get a nerf at some point, so I would take advantage and use this as quick as possible and get this thing right. So overall, the setup that I have, it's a pretty balanced weapon. Let's talk about the base stats and see why it's so overpowered and why it's one of the metas. So in the AR class, this is the second fastest fire rate weapon that we have. It shoots at 824 rounds per minute. So compared to other ARs, the only AR that's faster than it is the M13B, and that is my favorite AR in the game. So that's actually really good. Now, where it beats the M13 is the fact that the damage it deals 44 to the head, 28 to the upper body, 28 to the lower body, and then also 28 to the legs. So this thing does way more damage than the M13B. The M13 to the head only does 33 damage. So it shoots slightly slower than the M13, but it does more damage. So in the end, it probably would beat the M13 in a fight. So yeah, that is just like a really overpowered thing about it. The base mag about it is the one thing that I really don't like, and that it's the same with all ARs, obviously 30 bullets in each AR. So that's one thing I don't like. That's why I put on the 60 mag. So if you're fine with 30 bullets, especially if you're not playing something like Shipment or a fast-paced game where you'll need to reload often, you can use that. So you can use the 30 mag, and you can take that out and then put in some sort of a different attachment. You can put on something that works towards ADS, work more on recoil, or just put on some sort of a scope, so that way you can see a little bit further. But yeah, so it just really depends on your play style. It depends on what modes you plan on playing. I'm using this in Shipment, so obviously with Shipment, SMGs are pretty much the meta in that mode, but I wanted to use an AR just to show you that ARs are still overpowered in there. And as you guys can see from this gameplay right here, it is pretty good. So yeah, that's one thing that we have. So the movement speed isn't the best. It's the second lowest in this category. Everything else is around like 93% for the cast off. You got 89% for the 545. You got the M13B beating it by 1%. So movement is not that good with it. So you can work on that. I personally didn't have an issue with the movement, especially because Shipment is a small map. You could just turn a corner and find like 3 or 4 different people. So movement wasn't that big of an issue with me. And lastly, this weapon has the fastest ADS out of all of the ARs. Hence why when you looked at the way that I was tuning my weapons, I wasn't really worried too much about ADS. I only put the laser for that, and that could be replaceable. So it's at 220 milliseconds, while everything else is at around 250, 230. The only other one that's close to it is at 220, and that is the STB 556, which I already made a video about that. So the other ones are on average around 250. So this one is the fastest in terms of ADS speeds. You don't really need to adjust that too much. The only reason I put on the laser is to counteract the negatives towards the other attachments that I put on. So if you're going to want good recoil stabilization, it might lower the ADS speeds down, and the laser is going to lift them back up to pretty much break even it. So at break even, this gun is still fast on the ADS, and you get to take the perks of having good recoil control on that. So that's pretty much all that I got for you guys in this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's just a really broken class setup, and I want you to take advantage of it before the next big update, because this thing might actually get a nerf. I'm hearing like pros are getting it pretty much banned from CDL and things like that. So it's a pretty overpowered broken class that you can use in multiplayer or in Warzone. But yeah, that's all that I got for you guys in this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you did enjoy, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. It's been your boy Trizzle. Hopefully I'll be seeing you guys in the next one.